Hello, friends! When a life-changing moment takes place, our lives forever get divided into before and after. Sooner or later, we have to come to terms with our new circumstances and make the choice to keep fighting or accept that which can't be changed. This story is about a young man who, despite a terrible diagnosis, was able to make the world fall in love with his work and be inspired by his actions. Jeff Hansen from Kansas was an ordinary child in the first years of his life. Like everyone else, he attended school, played with his friends, and was interested in sports. The boy's parents couldn't get enough of their child. He did well in school. Thanks to his pleasant personality, he was considered the life of the party. His parents always praised him. He was an active participant in school life and loved schoolwork. By the age of 8, the boy had already won several competitions in math and drawing. There was no doubt that with time, the boy would achieve even greater success, perhaps even become a famous scientist in the future. However, as it turned out, he had many difficult trials ahead of him. One day, the Hansen family was having dinner on the porch of their house. Jeff's father, Hal, asked him if he'd like the bright stars in the sky. The boy responded by saying that he couldn't see them very well. This answer alarmed the boy's parents somewhat. Jeff's poor eyesight, however, did not concern the family too much. After all, Hal too wore glasses since childhood. He simply thought that the time had come to find the right prescription for his son as well. Jeff's new glasses helped him see the world around him more clearly. The boy didn't care that he would have to wear them for the rest of his life. On the contrary, he was happy that they made him look like a real scientist. Jeff's desires to learn as much as he could grew even stronger. He couldn't stop reading, even when it was time to go to sleep. His parents' warnings that reading in the dark would only worsen his already impaired eyesight didn't stop him. After a few months, the boy once again complained of blurry vision. Hal believed the problem to be the boy's continuous reading in the dark, and brought him a new pair of glasses. However, it wasn't Jeff's passion for books that turned out to be the problem. Jeff's ongoing complaints about continuously worsening vision made his parents worry more and more. When Jeff's spatial orientation further declined and he began to stumble over everything, it was decided to run a series of comprehensive tests. From that moment on, the family would never again lead a carefree life. At that moment, their hardships began in earnest. The boy was diagnosed with neurofibromatosis, or more simply, a brain tumor. One of its symptoms is impaired vision. Of course, such a diagnosis meant that Jeff would have to spend many days in the hospital, undergoing an intensive course of chemotherapy. It is difficult to describe what the Hansen family felt at that moment. After having gone through the expensive and difficult course of treatment, they didn't even want to exercise the possibility that Jeff would be forever bedridden and not able to experience the many joys of life. It is important to note that the positive attitude of Jeff's parents was not just blind faith in success. A few months after the diagnosis, their boy really did return home. Even though he began to navigate spaces by touch, a new chapter of life awaited him, during which he would once again feel happy and moreover become world famous. In addition to his passion for exact sciences, Jeff also had an interest in art. In order to encourage Jeff, his mom upgraded the arts and crafts corner in their house, which previously had only some construction paper and different types of paint. While Jeff was in the hospital, his parents wasted no time. They created a whole art studio in which the boy could paint on canvas and temporarily forget the trials that he was recently subject to. Fortunately, Jeff really liked this idea. He devoted himself entirely to learning different art techniques, knowing that he would soon forever lose the rest of his eyesight. Having come to the conclusion that this was the activity that brought him the most joy during such a difficult time in his life, the boy decided to forget about science and devote himself entirely to art. In just a few months, he was able to create a beautiful painting that was genuinely admired by everyone who saw it. Perhaps many of you are wondering, how can a person who can barely see colors and very large objects, who needs help taking even a few steps, create such a masterpiece? After experimenting with many different styles of painting, Jeff settled on a three-dimensional painting technique. With the help of texture paste, sculpting solution, as well as acrylic, he could apply something similar to a mosaic on the canvas. After the first layer dried, he would apply the rest of the colors. The shapes on the canvas served as his guideline. Feeling those shapes allowed the young artist to understand which fragment of the painting he was working with. As such, Jeff fell in love with art in the same way he had once fallen in love with science. It helped him escape the many pressing problems in his life. Throughout the following year, he created several paintings that were definitely exhibition-worthy. However, local success was only the beginning of his story. After spending many hours a day next to their son, helping him with his work, Jeff's parents realized that his unique style of painting could bring him huge popularity. As such, Hal had the idea to turn Jeff's hobby into a profitable activity. By the time Jeff turned 15 years old, he was already the face of a small gallery and had started a personal website where he sold his work. Needless to say, when the world learned of his story, many people became very interested in his work. The number of requests to buy Jeff's paintings grew by a lot. This was not a matter of charity and compassion. Jeff's work deserved recognition on its own merit. Jeff drew mostly landscapes, and his popularity continued to grow. The attention that he received could be attributed to the fact that he was noticed by multiple celebrities from various fields. His famous fans included the entrepreneur Warren Buffett, singer Elton John, actress Olivia Wilde, and many others who were thrilled to have Jeff's pieces in their homes. Jeff's sudden popularity did not get to his head or change his personality. He continued completing paintings after painting with great interest and passion. But he didn't want to stop there. Living with a series of illness made Jeff understand just how difficult life is for those who are struggling with life-changing illnesses or disabilities. That's why he decided not to keep all of his earnings and came up with the plan to share it with others. Jeff understood very well that his newfound popularity could be directed into something even more positive. Thus, he announced that for every painting he sold, he would put another one up for auction and donate the proceeds to charitable organizations. One has to admire this gesture. The average cost of one of Jeff's 14,000 paintings was about $4,000. At an auction, he could make as much as $20,000 per painting. At only 19, this man made a decision wise beyond his years, which resulted in donations to over 200 organizations and foundations supporting children with tumors. Jeff, of course, did not want to stop there. He announced that by the age of 20, he wanted to have raised $1 million for the benefit of organizations fighting for the lives of sick children. Of course, he succeeded. The young philanthropist soon attracted the attention of journalists who loved sentimental stories. The number of journalists interested in his life continued to grow and grow. The media wanted to know how the artist managed to transfer his frantic energy onto the canvas and create such vivid masterpieces. Of course, they also wanted to know what inspired him to donate so much money. I thought it would be good to give back to the world and not use it for myself, Jeff told USA Today. Jeff started painting all those years ago and then just couldn't stop. He drew what he wished to be able to see with his own eyes. Soon, the face of this young and modest artist adorned many magazines. When reviewing his work, authoritative figures in the world of art were in absolute awe of what they saw. They wondered at his ability to feel the vibrations of each shade of color and create such harmonious art pieces. Even though Jeff referred to his work as a sight for sore eyes, there is no imbalance in his work. Instead, his artwork resembles a bowl of beautiful ripe fruit. Everyone should go see it. To date, Jeff's paintings raised over $6.5 million. His goal was to create several thousand more paintings and increase his total contributions for the benefit of sick children to $10 million by the age of 30. Of course, we are in awe of the once doomed boy who not only fought a terrible illness for so long, but also shared his joie de vivre with the whole world. I would like to sum up the story with this quote: "The best way to forget about your own problems is to help someone else solve theirs."